Hey Tony, it is Wednesday. Unfortunately, it's been rough trying to get the kiddo down for the past couple weeks, so it's made my evenings challenging. But first off, to answer your question of the week, I have not actually read any of the High Republic books, and I haven't really. I used to be more into webcomics than I am now. It's just, there's still a couple that I'll read like once in a blue moon, but as far as it goes, they're not really ones I do that often. One I do recommend that I think was very, very good that I haven't read in a while, but is one of my favorites is Darths and Droids. So Darths and Droids was or is, I don't know if it's still ongoing, but it's basically it's screen captures of Star Wars with D&D lines thrown in. So, like it starts with episode 1, and one of the characters, Jim, plays as Qui-Gon and does like the opposite of the intelligent, the intelligent, wise Jedi Master that Qui-Gon was, and instead he's this madhouse player. It's really fun. R2 is played by an absolute munchkin, meaning someone who is like, okay, I'm going to build myself up to be this exact way. That way, it's the perfect time for perfect way to play this space game. It's very good, very funny. It's done with a lot of love for Star Wars as a whole and for D&D, and it's very fun. I know that they have done episodes 1 through 6. I know they've done Rogue One. I don't know if they've done the sequel trilogies. I know they were holding off on the sequel trilogies until they were fully released. So I don't know if I have not read it in a while, but it's a good one. I think you would enjoy it. Someone who enjoys Star Wars and enjoys D&D. It's very fun, and it's some of the players you can kind of laugh as a DM and just go, oh yeah, I've had this player in my game before. It's very good. Another one that I used to read a lot when I was back in undergrad was Questionable Content, which was, it was a neat little indie webcomic that, started off as an indie comic, but then really turned into more slice of life, and God, it's been probably ongoing now it'd been ongoing for a while when I was in undergrad, and that was 14 years ago. I started reading it, and it had been going on for at least 5 years before that point, which it's another really fun, it's one that I used to really enjoy. Again, I kind of stopped reading it probably 10 years ago. Maybe not that long, but probably 8 years ago. So I have no idea where it's at now. But it was a fun one. I enjoyed it. Another one that I really enjoyed that, again, I have not read in a very long time was Gone with the Blast Wave. Now, Gone with the Blast Wave is post-apocalyptic dark humor in which, there's this forever war. The two characters that you follow are two red soldiers, because they're the red team, and they are basically Sniper and Pyro, because they don't actually have names, but that's a symbol they have on their helmets. But it kind of pokes fun in a dark humor sense at the futility of war. And even the very first one is what are we even fighting for? And I think Pyro goes, what are we fighting for? And Sniper goes, to win. And that's kind of that type of humor is ongoing throughout the entire webcomic. Again, it was one that did not update that often, but one that I really enjoyed. But it's just, again, another one that I have not been into webcomics for a while. I revisited Darths and Droids, probably last year, I think, when I was starting to consider running a Star Wars game or something like that. Just because I remembered how much fun it was. I remembered how much I would laugh at it. And again, I read all of episodes 1 through 6. They are very good, and again, it's the perfect combination of D&D and Star Wars that pokes fun at both, but also done with love. So I think that's one you would enjoy. Again, other than that, I don't think I do too many other webcomics, save for those 3. Again, it used to be something I did a lot more back in undergrad when I had more time, or in summers during law school when I also had more time. But they're just ones that I will always look back on fondly. Questionable content kind of lost the plot, I think, a little bit. But fun fact is that it actually took place in Northampton, Massachusetts, in an alternate universe type thing. So that was kind of fun when I learned that later on in my life. When I lived in Northampton, I was like, oh, okay, I recognize all of this now. But yeah, some good ones. There's one I also read a little bit back in high school called Mega Tokyo that my friend Nick lent me, and that was fun. I guess my understanding is like they also really kind of lost the plot, and the author is not particularly well liked in webcomic spheres now, but I don't really follow that. But yeah, so those are just some ones that I have read a long time ago. Again, I've not read any of them in a while. The most recent one was, again, Darts and Droids, I think about a year ago. But they're a lot of fun. So Tony, my question for you is, have you ever read Darts and Droids or questionable content? And if not, will you give Darts and Droids a try? I think you'll like it. Tony, I'll see you on Friday, probably, maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. I'll see you sometime. Later, bro.